So I went to my drill sergeant and I was like, dude, I'm having dreams about killing you. And he was like, listen, I know what you're trying to do. And if you try to go out this route, you're going to be stuck here in paperwork. I suggest you get your shit together and complete the 8 weeks and you'll be out of here. It just took that one conversation. I'm an observer and I listen and I'm like, those people that told me about this have been here for a while.
Wait, so you went up to the drill sergeant and you said, dude,
like,
I think I'm going to kill you.
No, I said I'm having dreams about killing you. And he knew what I was trying to do. Hi, this is Celeste and this is my... Oh, wait, hold on. Hi, this is Celeste the Therapist.
Whoa.
Trademark. And this is my golden hour.
Water. Earth. Fire. Air. Long ago, the 4 deer nations lived together in harmony. Then, everything changed when the fire deer attacked. Only Derek, master of all 4 elements, could stop those boys. But when Boston needed him most, he vanished into the enchanted golden deer forest.
Season 4.
So those 2 claps mean the start of an episode.
Whoop, whoop. I'm excited.
And before I got a feeling that this episode, there won't be much dead time because Celeste is a professional talker and a professional communicator and a professional listener. Like, she got degrees, man.
I know, I am. There won't be any dead time.
Cool. That's what makes for a good podcast, right?
I know.
Sometime when we were listening to your episodes beforehand.
Oh, God.
Why, do you get insecure about it? I don't really listen to myself
either. It's weird,
either.
isn't it? Okay, I'm not the only one. My husband's always like, do you get tired of hearing yourself? Because I need to hear it for the clips that I use.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know.
But aren't you just in a rhythm now? Like, you know, that will be a good piece. That will be a good piece.
Yep.
Little business mind, huh?
Even once I hear it during the podcast, I'm like, dude, that's going in the segment for
So like when you start talking, you're like, oh my God, I'm on a roll.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome when I post it. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. But when we were listening to your episodes beforehand, it seemed like you have a way of talking where you build it up and then there's like that like fire piece, like that fire motivational, inspirational piece, and then you keep going, and then there's another one. Yeah. What segment were we listening to specifically? We just listened to one about saying no to people or giving people passes. Giving people passes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you give people passes?
I used to. So a lot of the things I talk about is from my own experience of life, and I'm only 36, but I've been through life, and so the things that have helped me, I've just made it into like a solution focused way of dealing with it. And being a therapist, I pretty much know everybody's dealing with similar things. You would never know it because social media appears like everyone's like
good
living their best life.
But podcasts are good, especially televised ones, because like you can't really fake it. You
can't.
It's a good and bad thing so I have a sense to entertain a lot, you know. I just like have that sense in me. So I think what's been nice about this is that people also understand that I can be soft sometimes, man.
You can. You're super dope.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So to my right, I have a fellow podcast host, and I'm going to actually just start off by saying this because we probably want to cut this up as some promo. On June 30th, there will be an event taking place that has never happened before.
Yes.
And we're going to post this next week. So on June 30th, in a couple days, there will be an event happening in this city that has never happened before. All the podcasts in the city, not all of them, but some of the best, will be joining forces for one massive episode called the
MASSCast.
Oh, you're supposed to like really just go
MASSCast. I'm so excited.
And Celeste is one of the featured hosts, and it's going to be a panel, and it's going to be the first time ever in the city, and we're really excited to do it. Are you excited about it?
I'm super pumped. I'm excited. I love your energy. Dude, the first time, so I found out about you from It's Lit Boston. I follow them. And when I started following you, I'm like, dude, your energy is like A1. I can feel it even through social media. And then at the office party, I was like, yeah, you're so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so excited. That
I get tired though sometimes too. People get tired.
I can tell. I can feel your energy, like when you're like overwhelmed or you're like, anxious a little bit. But
how do you acquire a sense like that?
I think it's natural. I think some people are just like natural empaths and have a natural sense of like understanding people. Mm-hmm. So like, even though I have this degree in psychology, I feel like anybody can get a degree in psychology, but the way that I do things is because it's a part of my purpose. I
feel like therapists and good ones, it's less about IQ. This is obvious, but it's more about EQ.
I'm
right?
So slow.
Were you terrible at taking tests?
Dude, yes. My husband would we were in college and he would never study. I would be in the library like banging it out. And he would just go in class and pass. I have to listen. I have to read. You
have to let it register.
I have to let it marinate. And with mental health, easy peasy. And it's definitely not about IQ with psychology.
EQ. Have you heard someone talk about EQ?
Emotional intelligence?
Yeah. It's just how you understand the way people think and how they interact with people. Mm-hmm. Do you think you've always kind of had a sense like that?
I do, because even I think about growing up and how I noticed I didn't grow up in a great neighborhood, but
where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Roxbury.
Where?
And so Stafford Street is off of Blue Hill.
Okay.
And so I seen people, I seen the crackheads. I seen people that were doing certain things, and even though I was in that environment, I was like, I don't want to do that. And even graduating high school, I ended up in Georgia in a small town.
Were you in BPS for high school?
O'Brien, 2 years.
Whoa.
I went to 3 different high schools.
Whoa.
I moved to Georgia, a small town, dirt roads, and I didn't know what I wanted to do at the high school. So and only thing natural, people
though.
did.
Most people don't.
But in a small town, there was options where have a baby or work at a fast food restaurant.
Did you have the baby or did you do
I joined the military. Oh, the military was the third option.
Oh, third. Which sector of the military?
National Guard.
No way.
Yeah, National Guard. I joined the National Guard at 17 because I was what I'm trying to say is that even though I was not a sports person, I wasn't a runner or anything, I was I don't want to do that. And I didn't know what the military was about until I got there, and it was fucking crazy. It was crazy.
Wait, so what were you doing in the military?
So I was a supply specialist, but the first day, because everybody knows what it's like, I didn't know what it was like. I just knew what I didn't want to do. And the first day, they're like, get off the bus. And I'm like, who the fuck are they?
Oh, so it was real boot camp.
It was real boot camp. I think now it's softer, but back then, I'm 36. I was 17. It was so hardcore, and they had us packed in the truck like sardines.
Probably wicked hot, too,
it was
right?
hot.
In Georgia?
It was in July. It was in Fort Lindenwood, Missouri.
Oh, God.
And
Why would you ever sign up for this?
Because I didn't want to have a baby.
Or hit the fast food restaurant. Yeah, I feel you.
Oh, shit.
So what happens after that? The National Guard?
Yeah, so in the National Guard, and so it took me a while to get my shit together because I was not complying. And the way they get you to comply is that when I don't do something, the whole company gets smoked. Smoked means you go in the front line arrest position, you run around. They would have me on the platform standing, and my last name was Jones. Thank Jones for this. And so at night, people would be like, yo, Jones, can you just do it? Blah, blah, blah.
That sounds awful.
So I was like,
talk about Trump.
I was like, how am I going to get out of this? So I found out you can say you're crazy. So I went to my drill sergeant and I was like, dude, I'm having dreams about killing you. And he was like, listen, I know what you're trying to do. And if you try to go out this route, you're going to be stuck here in paperwork. I suggest you get your shit together and complete the 8 weeks and you'll be out of here. It just took that one conversation. I'm an observer and I listen. And I'm like, those people that told me about this have been here for a while.
Wait, so you went up to the drill sergeant and you said, dude,
yeah.
I'm going to kill you.
No, I said, I'm having dreams about killing you. And he knew what I was trying to do.
Oh, so he was like...
And
You're
I
not
was like,
fooling me.
yeah, he's like, no, you just don't want to be here. He's like, but you're going to get stuck here if you take the mental health route. Then if
So
you
he was
just
actually looking out, even though you said you wanted to kill him.
And at the end of the ceremony, like when we graduated, he like cried and was like, people like me make him want to keep going because I completely changed. And knew I didn't want to be in the military after my first year.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Went to college.
So you came back from Georgia to Boston?
Yes, from Georgia, moved back to Boston, was in the National Guard, and started going to Quincy College because back then, I feel like now degrees don't matter
As much.
Granted, I ended up in a field where I needed a degree, but back then I was like, if you don't get a degree, you would be a bum.
Yeah, I feel you.
So I went to Quincy College.
Well, the invention of the internet has provided that.
Yeah, yep.
And so you're at we were talking about this a little bit outside, but you were at Quincy, and then you were working at Stop and Shop in a shelter.
Yeah. So I was working at Stop and Shop. I needed another job. There was this ad for a shelter, which was like literally down the street from the school, and I was living in Weymouth at the time. And I applied. I got the job. Didn't know what it was going to be like. I was ignorant to homelessness. I never experienced like alcoholism or drug addiction in my like personal life. I just thought homeless people were people that were like alcoholics, because back then it was all alcoholism. It wasn't a lot of like substance use. Yeah, it was older people that was in the shelters, not the
vets
young.
too.
The vets, yeah, they had super like dope programs for vets. It was a lot of older people, and so like once I started working there, I realized like, no, these people have a story. And like I was literally 19, the youngest person, the only like black person there, and people literally like attached to me.
What type of shelter was it? Was it like a veteran shelter?
It was actually a wet. Back then they had a wet shelter. They had two sides. Like you can come in like totally stoned, like drunk, as long as you just like go to sleep and be quiet. And then they had a dry side, and they had way more programs because this is before 9/11. Like before 9/11. There were so many programs for people like you can go in a shelter and like in 6 months get a Section 8 voucher, get an apartment. So things were moving differently back then when we had a lot of money in the system.
So then I was like, where's that vibration coming from? Like, am I going nuts? Is Celeste going to pick up on it that I'm going crazy? So you're at the shelter, and then you realize, wait, I kind of know how to talk to people, and I kind of know how to listen.
Yeah, so I was just there and working overnights, and, you know, people were struggling with sleep, and they would talk about their stories and stuff, and I would listen and give feedback. And
Was it tough not to be judgmental?
No, I've never like had that problem.
Never
had that problem. I mean,
that's a real gift.
It is a gift. The ignorance of like what homelessness was. It wasn't that I judged homelessness. It was more so like I just didn't understand it. Yeah. And so like when I got there, I understood like there's these major mental health issues. There's substance abuse. There's so many things that lead people to that place. And these are the people that nobody cares about. Like people like kind of like pass over them. And I've always been that person, like the bully, like that would bother the other people. I would stick up to the bully. Like I would like go toe to toe with that person. Like I've always had that in me to like stick up for the little guy.
I think a lot of people think about homelessness is that like, in life, if you view it as like a game, like you get a shot and you know what stupid decisions are. Mm-hmm. So do you think your experience there kind of made you more empathetic towards people in worse circumstances?
Yeah, I think that because there's so many different ways to end up homeless, regardless of like a stupid decision. It could be just the cards you're dealt, right? Like if we are playing a game of
lottery, man.
Yeah, you're playing a game of spades, and like I can get like a dope ass hand. Like that's the way life is. Like some of the stories hear
at the
start. Some people I'm like, how are you still breathing? You know what I mean? So definitely empathetic to the max.
So I totally agree with you, and I think at a certain point I realized I was like, damn, man, I had like really driven parents. Like they always provided for me. I went to good schools. Like I sometimes feel pressure myself. Like, dude, I can't mess this up.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like,
yeah.
I got the best hand.
Yeah.
And I'm hot.
Yeah. You
And
notice I stopped saying yeah.
And I'm 6'3".
You are tall. That's so hot.
So, what were your parents like growing up?
So I'm single parent. Mom was single parent. Dad wasn't around. So I didn't grow up in like the best of situations, and it's so interesting how I don't understand how I'm here like now, because I was exposed to a lot. Like I was able to do whatever I wanted to do, but still chose not to because of I watched the consequences of what would happen when things.
Oh, you mean you had a lot of independence growing up?
I had a lot of independence, yeah. And so like
so you
I
just never
paid
like
attention.
partied or like.
I never partied. I didn't start drinking until I was like 21 or 22. I
And
smoked weed when I was younger, but when the thing is like I never learned how to roll, and this is before. Now they have the
Pieces and bongs.
that wasn't really out there then.
It was just joints.
It was with all the saliva and stuff. I remember the first time I smoked. I didn't inhale.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I'm joking. Totally inhaled. No,
you
but
went to space.
I was like freaking out. I thought somebody was following me. And then I like.
I know. You get paranoid.
Then I had a bomb ass sandwich. Like I would have thought it was a sub, but it was literally bologna and mustard.
That's it?
Yeah, but it tasted so good.
That shit was amazing, right? Do you still smoke?
So I'll smoke periodically, but so when I was 15, before I moved to Georgia, I was always around people that smoked, and when I moved to Georgia, I didn't know nobody, so that's how I stopped smoking.
Because you had no resources.
I didn't have no resources, and I didn't feel like I was ever like I never needed it. It was like a thing that I just.
It was
did.
fun.
Yeah, but drinking, never got into drinking surprisingly until I was like 21.
And then
22.
you just started hitting that bottle.
Yeah,
You
I
did?
started
You
with
like it? You
I
like
started
it?
with wine coolers.
Oh, you were trying to get all bougie.
No, I just thought that. I mean, I had a little buzz from the wine coolers, from like not having no liquor to wine coolers.
Do you know what a wine cooler is? It's like a spritzer.
It's so good.
Esque wine. It's like a less heavy wine. And so if me and you like went to the liquor store right now, Frank, and we were like, I was like, yo, bro, go get me some wine coolers. You'd be like, dude, pause. It's traditionally pretty feminine.
Yeah.
But they do taste good.
Yeah, they tasted good. And back in the day, and then I didn't start clubbing until I was like 19, 20. Back in the day, like in Boston, the clubs you can get in at 18. You just would have to wear like a
like on Tremont Street?
On where Fenway Park is. Lansdowne had all the bars. But you just had to have a wristband on. So I would like call them, like, can you be 18? Now, like, you can't be 18 again until.
No, it's strict.
No, back in the day, I was partying at like 18 with my wine coolers.
Sounds like a lit pregame with Celeste. Go hit those wine coolers.
All the time.
So when does all the mental health awareness and advocacy start for you?
So for me, Can
I also reference something before you start?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that you started back then, because I think just now mental health has become very popular. So you've been around it before it became like mainstream common talk.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say, like, even though I was doing the thing at the shelter, I wouldn't have characterized myself as aware, because I had my own struggles. I've always struggled with depression. This is something I talk about a lot. I would have never characterized it as depression back then. Now, like, I'm so self-aware. I already understood what was going on. And I would like party and drink and stay in school and worked. I always had a job since I was 14. So like, because I was exposed to the work life is probably another reason. Like when Justin talked about like this Justin on the previous episode talked about drugs saving his life.
Shout out Justin Clancy.
Yo, super dope episode. He talked about like it saved his life. It was because it was his coping mechanism. And I say like we can all cope in different ways. I just happen to take the work school thing. He took the substance thing. And but they both like helped me like mask a lot of things at the time that I was struggling with. And then
so you feel like you were exerting yourself in societally what would be viewed as like a more healthy manner.
Yes. So like those people that like are working, like there are some people like they'll commit suicide and people are like, what the fuck happened? Because they, according to societal standards, they're like literally like doing it the right way. So I was doing it the right way, but inside it wasn't the right way. I wasn't like, it wasn't matching up with my trajectory and how I was going.
So what, did you just feel despair?
Despair? What do you mean?
Like, I mean, I'm sure it still challenges you sometimes, but what was off to you? Like, why were you feeling off at the time?
So there was no reason for me to be like doing all this work, helping people and going home and feeling sad. So when I realized things were wrong, it started really when I finished school. And a lot of people I end up seeing, they start understanding like what's happening because I no longer have school to mask it. Besides school, there's the homework, the test. So all of my time, and I'm not that smart. Remember we just said this?
You're whack at tests.
So I'm like studying double time. And now I don't have that to cope. And now all I have is this space, like this pause that I always talk to people about having so that you can yeah. But you need that like space and that time to reflect, to understand what's happening. So like life isn't going and your like mental health and your internal self is like stagnant. Like that's not good.
Yeah. So that was one thing I like wanted to talk to you about. I think that you probably have pretty cool input on is like work-life balance. So for instance, I work like kind of like a psycho. I do. One, it's like, it's the truth. And I don't even mean like glorify it. Like I just work a lot. And so I wonder sometimes if like, I was talking with Frank about this. If you have more balance, do you think you'll be more effective in the workplace? Or do you think if you keep going hard, you'll be more effective? Do you know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Like we're in execution mode all the time, right?
Yep.
Or would it be better off like to take a pause, do less, and then be more effective on specific decisions?
The pause is better because it's more sustainable. Right now, you're killing the game. Like the way you're operating, what you're doing is super dope. And people like you, when I watch people, I'm like, damn, I hope they're really taking care of themselves because at some point there's a crash that takes place. Like you're not going to die from like going the way you're going, but are you going to be living or are you just going to be operating in survival mode and operating in the systems? And so like it feels different when you're able to really make that balance and like make that intentional time, because that's an addiction, right?
It's a mania for sure.
Yeah, it's an addiction.
It is. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I love building and like I love getting stuff done.
I know.
But I know what you're saying. What type of things would you say like, hey, Big Bochi, you should start instituting stuff like this to make things more sustainable? I
would say like creating intentional time for like meditation, whether it's yoga, whether it's
everyone
reading.
is so big on yoga, dude.
No, I don't care about
yoga.
So
everyone's like, yeah, just like breathe in, breathe out. I was out here like looking like this the whole time.
Okay, everything doesn't work for everybody, but there's breathing, there's writing. I think pausing for you, because you're always like, you're just on, you're like a machine. You don't stop. And that's because of the way your brain operates.
Yeah,
you have so many ideas. You're like, you use like a different part of your brain where you have all these ideas, and you're very smart. Like you have you're using like dual sides.
I want to enjoy it though too, like to the fullest. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And so you have to be more intentional of like, all right, let me put the phone down. Let me put the screens down. Like, and that
those
feels
phones,
uncomfortable.
Man, those phones.
Dude, I'm so intentional. Like, I'll like, from my job, if I'm going to the post office, I leave my phone and I'm in there and I'm just thinking about my day. I'm just like processing things, and everybody's just on their phones. And I'm like, we don't even understand how much that's like really shaping the way we're thinking, the way we're living. And that's why so many people,
so subconscious.
Yes. And so many people are struggling with anxiety and depression and all of these other issues, is because they're not taking time out to recognize what's taking place. Like, this world is happening inside and you're doing nothing about it. And that's not cool.
So, mind you, you're about to reach and get the phone.
No, I was going to get my water.
You're about to hit Instagram Live.
No.
Well, you're big on content too, though. So how do you navigate it without getting too caught up in it?
Yeah. So,
I mean, you have people listen to your podcast regularly, you
Yeah.
know, like you have media space.
yeah, people listen. But I'm intentional. Like I have family time, I have work time. When I've been in private practice for 3 years, so I work for myself. And I remember the
Shouts out
first
to you.
year.
We got an entrepreneur in the building.
Whoop,
Yes,
whoop,
sir.
whoop. The first year, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be like working 7 days a week. I'm gonna be doing it, because it's easy for me to like have conversation with people and get clients.
And you're
And
fun.
then-
and it's,
Yeah, like it's like you're really talking to like somebody, but it's guided. It's not like just like, yo, life sucks. Nah, why does life suck and what we're gonna do about it? That's the way I operate. And so the first year though, I was like doing all these hours, but then I didn't feel right. Like I wasn't home with my family, and I was like, I got to change the game. And I stopped like work. I only work 1 night a week. I don't work on the weekends anymore. I only see a max 5 clients. Like
5 clients a day.
5 clients a day max, 6 if it's an emergency. And so like I had to be intentional, because I could have easily like made money. Like it's easy for me to make money that way.
Yes, sir.
But I chose my peace over the money. I chose the peace because I can keep making money, but am I going to be sustainable? Am I going to be happy? I can't pay for peace and happiness. That's the reason why I'm intentional about the way I operate.
Is it ever weird for you as a therapist? Like, you know, humans all deal with their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Everyone's battling something.
Yep.
Is it ever weird? Like, do you ever feel like you expose yourself to a lot of people who are also going through it, usually probably a lot more severe than you, that it's going to rub off on you?
No.
Never?
No. But when I was in a shelter, when I first started, when I wasn't really paying attention to myself, it rubbed off on me. I would go home and like think about these people and be like, oh my gosh, like I would be super depressed writing in my journal about them. And then I had to like change my perspective about what I was doing and pay attention to the way I was operating in sessions and things like that. I hear some really fucked up shit. Like I just stopped working in the EDs. I was in the emergency rooms for the last 4 or 5 years, dealing with people that are dealing with psychiatric emergencies. Imagine the shit that I hear every single day. It's a
Yeah.
lot. And so like, even though like this society and the world is so chaos, like I have so much peace inside. And that's like why I feel like so successful, is because of my peace, you know?
Yeah. How do you navigate it though? Like, I feel like you got to have a certain type of resilience to just like sit in there and be like, dude, I'm about to hear some crazy stuff. This is going to fuck my mind up. And I'm just going to smile and say, hey man, it's going to be okay.
But I don't tell people it's going to be okay. I'm like, this shit sucks. So.
This is terrible. I actually really take a little bit of issue with when people say life sucks.
Tell me
hate
why.
that.
Tell me why.
Because I think everything good stems from a positive mindset, don't you?
Correct. But in the moment, if I'm struggling and it sucks, I don't want you to be like it's going to be better. Because right now, like, I can't take that in. You know what I'm trying to say?
But
like,
what if you put your brain on default where it's like, okay, this is going to suck, but I know it will work out.
you have to build up to that mindset. So I have moments where things suck now, but I have that mindset now because I've built it. So when people kind of come up in this like traumatic life or the cards they were dealt, we think about like Justin, because we just talked about him and the cards they were dealt. It's hard to really think about it that way, right? It's hard. So, but I think now he's built up so much resilience that it's like he's always hopeful.
I feel like you have to. So do you listen to Joe Rogan ever?
Yeah, he's so dope.
He's great. He has this big thing about just like struggle and then like you hardening yourself through struggle. There's also a motivational speaker called David Goggins who does the same thing. And they're pretty much like, it's part of the human condition to be very feeble, and then as time goes on, you break down, but you build up a little stronger. You break down, you build up. Have you noticed that, like with some clients and patients?
Yeah, it's the resiliency, but it's a mindset. Like everything starts in our mind. And
isn't it crazy?
It's
though?
crazy.
People don't really realize that everything that you have going on starts up here.
Yeah.
Everything.
So the way we operate, if I'm not doing nothing, it's because of my fears, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But like if I'm doing something, I'm paying attention, and I believe I can do it. You believe you can kind of execute and do everything that you're doing, so you're able to do it. Is there some anxiety that comes in and fear? Yeah, but you don't allow it to dictate and stop you from doing it. The problem, like the reason why you're able to keep going and I'm able to keep going is because we recognize it.
Beasts. Don't stop.
We recognize it and we don't allow it to like marinate in our system.
It's fake.
We stop it at the door. I'd be like, yo, I could do this.
Stiff arm, dog. What So another thing I want to talk about was diet a little bit with you. So I've been like totally fascinated by the American consumer's diet. Oh God, you don't want me to talk about this? Or?
No, we can't. No, I'm just thinking about all the money that they make off of us.
well, literally. And so I have felt profound effects from cleaning up my diet like crazy, and profound effects from intermittent fasting cognitively. I'm so much more clear.
That's dope.
I never feel sluggish, way less anxious, because I think it's very evolutionary. You know what I'm saying? Like the earliest humans, they didn't eat all the time and they ate like clean. Have you ever tried to like prescribe a different diet plan to anybody, or is most everything you do like spiritual and psychological?
No, I take a holistic approach when I talk to people. And when you said diet, I looked like that because I was thinking about all of these like pills and stuff that people are trying to do to like lose quick weight. But what you're talking about is part of mental health, right? A lot of the foods and the things that we're eating, and you know, they affect us. They make us sluggish.
Major effect.
And that, you know, food, sleep, and exercise, those three things are things that we have control over. And most Americans don't realize, like, yo, if you cut out some of the shit that you're eating, if you get your ass up and start moving, if you go to bed at a decent time, yo, your mental health will like elevate like quickly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that when it comes to diet, I'm always checking in with people about those three things, you know?
Have you heard some of the theories on refined sugars?
Mm-mm.
So like people really think like refined sugars, which is like really highly processed sugars, are like the death of mental health.
I believe it.
So there's something in your body, Frank, quote me if I'm wrong, because I know you know a little bit about this, but your microbiome is like the brain of your body, right? I'm trying to sound intellectual here, man. I'm trying to make good points.
You know, I already said I wasn't smart, so don't even ask me.
No, you're not good at tests. But your microbiome is like the brain of your body. And so apparently your body can't really process a lot of the refined sugars that we eat. And so apparently it just has like a terribly negative impact on anxiety. And so they've been doing studies with people who just cut out these refined sugars entirely, and people's, in general, their anxiety is totally decreasing.
Yeah, I believe it. I think food plays a major role in everything, that how we feel. And when I started to eat differently, maybe in like 2013, I started to feel a difference. It's all a process. When I first started, I was like, yeah, like I'm eating like shit. I need to change. And
why were you eating at the time?
Dude, I would like, so I had my last kid at 2012. I blew up, and I was like, I'm going to go to the gym. Though, right? Yeah, I'm going to go to the gym, blah, blah, blah. Why did I, after the gym, why was I at Burger King's getting a fucking Whopper? And like,
you're trying to get these gains.
No, but I didn't know like I had to eat healthy. I'm like,
Why was the BK right next to the gym?
It wasn't too far. And I was like in love with Whoppers. I don't eat fast food anymore. But during that time,
they are good though.
Dude, during that time,
bro. Do you eat BK ever? Oh, they're hitting.
I said, I'm like, I just worked out. I'm rewarding myself. I was like wasting the fucking workout.
Yeah, I feel you.
And so like I switched up my diet. I was like, I'm about to get all greens. The problem with us is that like we can't like do it all. Like if I've been eating like shit this whole time, like I had to slowly, so I started with smoothies in the morning. Like gradually I changed, and now I like don't even eat processed food.
Are most of your changes to your lifestyle, have they all been gradual?
Yes.
Do you ever have people who come in that can make instantaneous change?
People that are very like enlightened. There are some people that didn't have like good guidance, but I can tell like they have it. So it'll be people like the first day, and they'll like, when they can pinpoint the areas in which things were like fucked up or when things should have been a different way, I was like, all you need is a little bit of guidance on like what you need to do and this like that. And the other people who don't even understand, like they'll tell me some shit and like they're reading somebody else's story, and I'm like, yo, that's trauma. They would be like, really? those people take a little bit longer to like get the shit together.
What do you mean they're reading someone else's story?
So they'll be like, yeah, like this happened, and like I was abused, and I witnessed this, and then they was like, yeah, and I went to school like with no emotion, like very disconnected. So people that are very disconnected from their story and don't even understand like that's trauma, I think those people struggle a little bit more with getting to a place of understanding, because I have to will it back a little bit and just kind of pinpoint, well, actually, blah blah blah. And the other people who are like, yeah, this happened, but they don't know like
how much it affects them.
They don't, and they don't. The secondary people, they don't know what to do with it all, because remember, mental health is so stigmatized in America. And talking about therapy now, I mean, now is better, but like back then it was like, you know, therapy is not something that you subscribe to automatically, or whatever it is that's going to help you get through it. And so when I give them these tools, they're like so good. Yeah.
So it's equally rewarding for you to have some make a gradual change as a quick change.
Yes. Either way, you know, change. I mean, but even the change when it starts is still like even though like I'm like so intentional and I'm doing so well, I have to continue to feed my spirit, like, because I can easily go backwards.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I can easily like get sucked into society and be like so depressed.
Yeah. What do you think about like the state of prescription?
It's crazy. And you hit on it in the last episode. Like, you said, who said it? You. Oh,
they prescribed me Adderall when I was young because I was rambunctious. Most boys are. That's just the nature. You know what I'm saying? And I couldn't sit down and I couldn't take tests and I couldn't do homework because I'm hardwired to boom, bam, smack, whoa, you know?
And maybe like they needed to figure out a different way to teach you, because everybody doesn't fit in the mold.
Well, it's just really easy to say, wait, okay, this kid's kind of giving us issues in class. Let's just dope them up,
them up, yeah. And when we're not educated about like prescription, when people think of a doctor, it's like, well, they have all the answers, but they go to school for medicine, so why wouldn't they prescribe you medicine?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's what they do. And people start coming to me because they'll go for an issue and they're depressed or anxious, and they'll doctor be like, here, take these. Not like what's going on. Then they don't go to the root of the problem. So now I think like to fix this internal thing, I need medicine. And when you start off at a young age that way,
morph your brain.
You start thinking like, well, medicine is the only way I'm going to deal with anything I have going on. Not like, let me sit down and process it and let me talk it out. Let me figure this shit out. I like, just give me a pop a pill. And when I was at the shelter for like 10 years, so over the years, I seen the course in which people came. And so I would have to do intakes. And everybody that was struggling with substance use, they started with some type of medicine. A lot of people started with having some type of medicine. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, I just feel like if it helps you, it helps you. But I mean, I also think humans have the ability to fix themselves, as you know.
We do. I say we all have it in us, but we just all haven't tapped into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I don't like, I have clients that take medicine, and I don't deter people from medicine, but I don't want it to be a first resort. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like
it can really help people though.
It can really help people, but and there are some things like schizophrenia. Medicine works wonders on like quieting the voices and things like that. But like a kid, because they're moving around and stuff, I feel like that's like fucked up to do to somebody.
I feel like sometimes there should be like a scale for people who are dealing with some of the more general anxiety disorders or mental health disorders.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, let's just try to fix your diet first.
Yes.
Let's get why don't you go exercise first, and let's get you on regular sleep. Like, couldn't that be?
But who's gonna, like, if I had it, like, when you see the commercials, do you ever see a commercial like that?
That's what I'm saying.
Do you ever see a commercial that says like,
this might give you a heart attack and heartburn? And
but if I have a commercial about like sleep and food, who's getting paid from that? No,
we could call it Celeste Sleep Schedule. We should start selling GDP diet plans. Yes, sir.
No one's getting paid from that. So like, they're not going to tell us. We have to educate ourselves.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
Frank, question. In China, are pharmaceuticals as rampant as the U.S.? Not even close?
Nope.
So if someone's dealing with anxiety in China, like what's the normal course of action? Yeah, well, I feel like what you had said at least is that Chinese people are frequently less expressive, correct?
And even in other society, like
that's where you should start your business. You start making a killing. All these people have all these issues they haven't talked about.
No, but they don't have as much issues as we have. America is the only place, like, we have like high depression, high anxiety, because like we think that we need the best of everything. I could be fine with sweeping my floor with the broom. I look on a commercial and I see a little thing that moves
Swiffer?
around, and I'm like, no, this broom is no longer good. I need that broom.
That's Swiffer. That's Swiffer's
Dust
hitting.
Swiffer.
That's Swiffer's hitting though. I'm telling you, it
But
hits
we're
every
not
corner, dog.
satisfied here. Like, we always want more. We're never satisfied with what we have.
Isn't that human though? To want
No,
more.
but to not be satisfied with what you have, like,
To not be content.
I can want more, but I can want more, but not be sad about what I have.
But don't you think some people, I guess drive is different. I wanna win, man. Like that's
Winning.
in me,
It's not about not winning. The problem here is that I can have a apartment, but because Celeste just brought a house, my apartment looks really small. I'm no longer happy but I can still be happy in my apartment and build for a house. You understand what I mean? Like, that's the problem.
Well, the nature of society at least is competitive. So
Yes.
it's like, yeah, everyone kind of stacks himself up against other people.
Which is where you talk about social media, right? Like, it's all filtered. Like, nobody puts
There
their
are benefits
lows.
to it, though.
There are. No, I'm on it. I'm on all platforms. So, like,
You're on Stitcher.
we allow
How'd you get on
social
there?
media. I don't know. It just happened.
Stitcher is like a pretty foreign podcast platform. But
Dude,
Celeste is on there. You're global, dude.
I'm in 90 countries.
Whoa.
Yo,
Outside of the U.S., where's the second listenership?
Canada, and then
Shout out to our Canadian friends, man.
UK. It's everywhere. I'm learning the map.
Trinidad, Tobago, Finland, Australia.
Yo, we allow social media. You're right. Social media is not bad. I never think social media is bad. I think the way we utilize it, it's bad. Like, you shouldn't have like the red, like when you're at like the social media apps, that those red dots that come up, like that's dopamine.
Hits. Let's do it.
Yeah, and like people like, and it's
I
just
can't wait to pick up my phone and get a little high after this, man. Like, whoa. You guys love this stuff? Whoa.
You addict.
Actually. Well, it's definitely an addiction. Just seeing things grow, I think is like really fascinating. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But you're also entrepreneurial too, though, is one thing.
Everything happened by, you know, the crazy thing about my stories.
But at the same time, but you like the fact that like your show grows, and I know it's happening holistically, but it's very human to want more. Don't you think?
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with wanting more.
Because we listen to the Celebrations podcast too, so that's kind of what I'm basing it on.
There's nothing wrong. I like to celebrate my moments, and I like to build and grow. I still want to grow. Like, I'm not at a place of contentment in my profession, in my career. But am I sad that I'm not doing it like Joe Rogan? Like, that's where we get messed up.
Well, I was gonna say like Dr. Phil. Like, you might be the next Dr. Phil.
Right, yeah. So, like, would I want to have a TV show and do what I do?
Could you have me up on your show?
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be fire. I feel like Boston could really benefit from a show like that.
Yeah. Like, that's my goal. Like, my goal is to like create.
Everyone here is fucked up. Honestly,
you're sick.
It's the truth, though, dude. Boston
No, we
is
all
crazy.
are. We all are.
But I think people embrace it here too.
We do. Yeah. I think in general we're embracing more of our fucked up ways in general.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everyone's just like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're just so.
You're tapped. Everyone's tapped. Actually.
Oh shit.
So yeah, where would you like to take everything for yourself? How many kids do you have?
I have 4.
Whoa.
Yeah, I adopted 2 and have 2.
How old is the oldest?
16.
You have a 16-year-old kid?
Yeah, I adopted him when he was 7.
So he doesn't count.
Yeah. So the first time I had a kid, my kid that I had out of my belly, not my vagina.
Oh, was it a C-section?
It was a C-section.
I was a C-section baby too. He's probably gonna end up crazy
He was
me.
He was actually a test tube baby.
Oh.
IVF. Yeah. So he's 8. He's 8.
So I said, as a psychoanalyst, have you already started pouring into your kids?
Yo,
You got to
from day one.
Don't mold them like that, though, right?
No.
Let them just figure it out, right?
So I teach them about emotions. I teach them to identify. So, like, my son will be like, oh, I feel frustrated. Like, what happens when we're frustrated as kids and we don't have language? We just act out. So all of the behaviors that the kids are manifesting are because of what they have going on internally. So because he can identify his internal struggle, he's not going to act on it. He's going to be able to correct it. And that's what I teach adults to do. We should be learning this shit when we're kids.
So what do you tell your son? Like, go punch a hole in that wall, son.
He runs. He likes to run. He likes to, he takes deep breaths. He was like, I would like, go take a deep breath. Like, he has different ways in which he deals with it. No, you could do is
just like find like the bully from the neighborhood, right? And say, yo, go square up with that kid. You know what I'm saying? Go start going
He would be like, I don't want to hurt them. He's so sweet.
He's kind.
Yeah, he's so sweet.
So yeah, where would you like to take it?
So I would love like a show where, because like my show, the way it is I talk to people who are empowering other people to give people hope. So I would love to have like a national show where I'm allowing people to find hope. Like when you think about AA, Alcoholic Anonymous, it works really well because you have somebody who's been sober for 20 years and I come in and I'm day one and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this, but I'm like, dude, this dude's been sober for 20 years and he has my story. I think I can do it. So like the premise of my show is to give people hope. So I'm talking to people about their story, and somebody in one of the 90 countries listening.
But we don't want more. No.
I never said that.
We shouldn't want to win.
No, we want to win. We want to
celebrate.
Celebrate the moments. Yeah, so yeah, I would love to have like a national show.
Are you familiar with Iyanla? She does something similar.
Yes, she does.
She had the most hilarious episode with DMX. Like I
didn't see that one, but I heard it was.
It was really funny. It was hilarious.
So I wouldn't want to do it like.
Shut the fuck up. I love him, man.
I wouldn't want to do it like that, but I would want to like, do it different.
Don't you think it's weird sometimes being media and then also like helping people? If you were, I'm just saying, I'm not saying you specifically, but if you were like a true philanthropist and like wanted to help people, why do you have to do it on camera? Do you think it's because you can have more impact, or do you think it's a capitalistic move?
It's both, right? Like I want more things. I want to like, I can't do this for free, right?
It's a fact.
So like, I want to make money and I want to help people at the same time. I have a good balance. I think the reason why I've been able to grow is because my balance isn't like, let me get the views, let me get the downloads, let me get this. It's more so like I'm genuinely coming from like
gradual
my heart.
Climb.
Yeah,
Celeste.
I'm really gradually coming from my heart.
Well, know what's dope too is that like that in like 5 years things will be bigger for you.
Yeah. Isn't that
dope? Especially.
Dope.
Because I think about that sometimes, like so caught up in like, let's get this done today. We'll be there next month.
Yep.
But if that gradual climb's a little more reassuring.
Yeah, I think the viral people or the one-hit wonders, sometimes they struggle with continuing to create content because of the way it happened. Because they
got that major dopamine hit.
Yeah.
Like, damn, bro. 100,000 views? Whoa.
Yeah, but I've been doing this for like five. I used to go live on Periscope every day.
Whoa, back in those days.
Yeah, that's how I started. That's why I have so many people that listen to me, because they just follow me on my podcast. And
you frequently just have. Are you doing Skype interviews normally?
Squad. I use Squadcast, so like I talk to people in other states too.
Word.
Yeah.
What are your tats?
So the theme is like love, peace, and happiness. Like. So I have a quote from J. Cole. I love him so much. I don't go to concerts, but I go to his concerts.
Oh, did you go to the Forest Hill Jazz Tour?
No, so I didn't know him then.
So you found out in like 2015?
Yeah, 2016, yeah.
Word.
So I lucked out because he came twice, last year and the year before last. But it's Beauty and the Struggle. So that's yeah. So
I've been to 2 of his concerts actually.
Yeah, he's so good. I love him. Like if I can meet anybody and like
any celebrity,
he would be it. Back in the day.
Does your husband know that?
Yeah. He knows that. His thing is tatted on me.
Oh, this is your husband?
This is J. Cole's line.
That's what I'm saying. Your husband's cool with that.
Well, then I got a little. I got an initial tattoo.
But his is smaller than J. Cole's. Hubby, man, what's going on here?
No, he knows. Like, J. Cole is, oh my gosh.
He's dope.
He's so dope, yeah.
I liked what he said. He was like, you're so focused on, like, getting it done, doing this, but then, like, you reach a certain apex and you realize, like, dude, it doesn't matter as much as, like, just uplifting the people around you. Something like that. Have you heard him say that?
No, yeah, that's his philosophy. Like, none of this matters, the cards. Like, he has, like, everything. And then when you talked about, like, the drive and, like, go and the break, and I'm like, it's at some point you're going to crash and you're going to be like,
oh, so you're saying I'm destined for failure?
no, I'm not saying that.
Big Bochi, you are doomed, man.
No, you're not. You're so dope.
So additionally, Frank, do you have any social mental health issues that been on your mind? I'm not saying you specifically. I'm just saying
in
anything.
General.
Yeah. Well, was it interesting for you when you came to China, when you came to the U.S., how much in, like, the social stratosphere that mental health is spoken about now? It's new. Yeah. It's very new here. Like, what did you say, last, like, 3 years?
Yeah, it's so new. I'm trying to think about, like, what would have changed the trajectory, but I'm happy it's happening, because it's like we said earlier, our mind, it starts in our mind, and it's so stigmatized, you know?
Do you ever think you psychoanalyze yourself too much?
Not too much. I think enough. Like, I think about, like, my movements, the way I blink my eyes, it happens automatically, but that's the way I'm able to stay in, like...
I'm freaking out.
That's the way I'm able to stay on point and stay focused, is because I'm analyzing myself, and that's important.
You should, but don't... I think obsessively analyzing yourself, that could also be an issue, right?
Well, then that's probably like anxiety when you're like, did I do this right? Like when you're like second guessing yourself. So I don't second guess myself, but I question. Like, I think sometimes we're afraid to, like, question ourselves because we don't want the answers.
Yeah, whoa, that was profound.
You don't want the answers. Because sometimes you gotta be like, yo, I'm fucked up. Like, that was fucked up, you know?
But sometimes you also do need a little anxiety to keep things going, don't you?
It just happens. I think it happens. I think we've all, nobody could say they've never felt anxious.
Well, you can't. I think sometimes you have to operate with a little bit of stress in you. You feel me?
Some people do well under pressure. Others don't.
Not like insane pressure, but a little on you, right? Like, you know what? Let's keep this Six Flags roller coaster going.
No, I don't know about that.
I don't either, man. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to get kicked out of the studio soon. But, hey, man, I had a great time.
Me too. This was so dope.
Is there anything you want to... Well, yeah, give your plug off where to find you and XYZ.
Everywhere, Celeste the Therapist. I've trademarked my name.
Whoa.
Celeste the Therapist. Because, like, what if a new therapist come out named Celeste? And then I'm like, I've built this Celeste the Therapist, and now, like...
And you came branded.
Huh?
You came branded.
Yeah. Totally.
You need a logo, though. You do need to get a logo.
This is my logo. I'm using...
No, that's not really a logo.
Why?
That's like a podcast image.
But what if I take the mic off?
Like, you need to just get something like standalone. You know what I'm saying?
What if I take the mic off?
That's more of like a Bitmoji. That's kind of what that is. You got to get like a normal logo. I know someone who could do it for you.
You're a marketing person. That's why I'm like listening to you.
I'm telling you.
I know.
Get a logo.
You're a marketer. I listened to your first podcast. It's dope why you started. Where you, I don't know if you deleted anything, but the first one where you talked about the reasons why you started it. I'm like, oh, you're a marketer.
Do you think it's grown since then?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Pretty wild,
yeah. It's so dope.
Frank, you should watch it. These dudes had no clue what they were doing.
Can I say this is my golden hour?
Yeah. But wait, no. You got to say where to follow you.
Oh, yeah. So I'm on Periscope, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Celeste the Therapist.
And outside the media space, how can people get in contact with you if they hear this and they want to, like, maybe talk to somebody?
CelesteTheTherapist.com.
$1 million. Come with that bag ready.
Streaming in 90 countries.
Wow. Okay, so you say this. Hi. Wait.
Okay.
Do you have it down already? Because if you do you know how to end it?
Hi, this is Celeste, and this is my golden hour.
And then right after you say that, hi, this is Celeste, and that was my golden hour.
Oh, okay.
Wait, and let me preface this. What we're gonna do with the clip is we're gonna do the little thing at the start. quick little promo, and then we're going to find a good bit afterwards with one of those flame transitions. Cool?
Dang.
Do I have everything else? Okay. So, Celeste is a featured host at the MASSCast on June 30th. And I heard that she's bringing her husband. And the 4 kids?
Absolutely not.
1 kid maybe? The 16-year-old? No? Okay. All right. My fault. Bad sales pitch on my part. All right, let's hear it.
Hi, this is Celeste, and this is my... Oh, wait, hold on. Hi, this is Celeste the Therapist.
Whoa.
Trademark. And this
Business.
is my golden hour.
And then right after...
Hi, this is Celeste the Therapist, and this was my golden hour.
And I had a great time.
I did too.
Frank, you let me know when I hit it. Dun, dun, dun.